That's the case with Massey Ferg. Power, passion, feel the surge. Plowing fields and baling hay. Red machines lead the way. Massey Ferguson.
Yeah, I think they hit it right with that one, huh?
I wonder who wrote the lyrics.
I have no
Really
idea.
thought
Yeah.
quite odd. I mean, if
Well-
you listen to the song, it's every word of it is true.
It's clearly someone who knows Massey Ferguson and who has a
Definitely.
pure passion for it, huh?
Couldn't agree more.
Yeah, definitely.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the first episode of What's the Case with Massey. We've got a jam-packed episode for you today. I want to welcome my co-host, Leonardo Schutte. Tell us what we have in store for today.
Well, obviously, everything Massey Ferguson. I mean, we thought it good to have these shows to just share our passion, which we have. I mean, both of us grew up with Massey Ferguson in our lives for many, many years since we can remember. And I mean, that's something worth sharing. And yeah, we have an amazing product range. Why not share it with the world?
That's right, folks. We have a jam-packed show filled with everything Massey Ferguson and agricultural related. Sorry about that. First episode mistakes. But yeah, let's get into it. Let's start with our first segment. What have we got? The Massey Ferguson is the...
You can say
this about?
they edit it out
do they?
afterwards.
Can
So
we swear?
yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
alright,
we
I'll
can say
remember. All right, let's see what we've got here. We've got looks like a Facebook post from JWL Landbou. That's one of
Yeah.
our favorite dealers in
a
South
very
Africa.
fantastic dealer, standing
Based out
very
in-
strong in the eastern part of the country.
Right, good grasslands, lots of protein production out
Big
there.
maize production as well. Yeah.
And it looks like these guys have had a demonstration not too long ago with a Massey Ferguson 6713. It looks like it's towing a 13,000 liter slurry tanker over
That's
there.
massive, huh? For something that's considered a smallish size tractor, small
Right,
to
that's-
medium sized tractor.
I'd often see something like a big 6-cylinder out on the front of something
Yeah.
like that, right?
Yeah, usually the tendency out in the field is always bigger is better.
Right. No,
But not with Massey Ferguson.
yeah,
Huh?
like no replacement for displacement, baby. Anyway, so these guys were out there not too long ago doing a demonstration, and they were out there towing this 13,000 liter sprayer. This is one of the largest piggeries in South Africa,
A
and
lot of slurry.
a lot of slurry. Let's start there first. Let's just set it up properly, and let's discuss slurry. What is slurry?
Yeah, so that is more common in the European countries, some of the North American countries as well. So that's actually literally shit. That's being mixed. It's basically it's manure, a byproduct from all the animals, usually chucked away because it didn't have a lot of value. But I mean, since many years ago, manure has always been used as a fertilizer. It's a very good feeding mechanism for the soil, and you don't have any other chemicals going in with it like with most other fertilizers that you use. So yeah, just to get it better out, there's a lot of ways you can get it in the field. You can spread it out, but slurry it's a quite convenient way to get it into the soil in a very concentrated manner. So you mix it up with a bit of water, get it into a more liquidy, sludgy form, and then you can just spread that over your field, pump it out, and yeah, it penetrates the soil very well, and yeah, the result is very healthy soil.
So in a sense, it's like the full loop of farming, where you've got the piggery producing pork, producing all kinds of products, and the waste from that farmery, the piggery itself, that gets put back onto the fields, which then produces almost the food that feeds the pigs,
And that food goes back into the slurry again, and
Yeah.
you feed the field again, you can grow a better crop.
yeah, a good nickname for slurry is fertilizer. But it's not
Makes
really
sense.
free, Nardu. It's actually quite a laborsome task. They put this slurry gets stored in large reservoirs that need quite a bit of maintenance and a bit of work. And you also can't cast slurry all year round. There's a specific season, often in the summer period, spring period, where you would put down this kind of slurry. And a part of that, it needs a lot of water. So in this case, we demonstrated a mixture of 20% waste, 80% water. And that gets everything nice and slurry-like you said, like a porridge, and that gets for even spread, and you don't get too much of a mist. On top of that, this material isn't really free in the sense that it needs to be hauled from the reservoir out to the field. This operation was spending 8 million rand per year on getting the slurry from the piggery and onto the
And
lands.
that's just the haulage cost.
That's
that they
just
have, yeah.
haulage cost. So it's unfortunately not fertilizer like we'd like to think.
Yeah.
But on top of that, let's discuss what benefits would a farmer expect about applying either a slurry from a piggery or from a cattle farm. What benefits would slurry, on top of obviously we're gonna save the farmer some money. He's gonna potentially have to reduce his nitrogen input. But is there any other benefits that we can expect to gain from something like slurry?
Yeah, I think in one instance it gives the farmer better control. Like you said, you did a 20-80 mixture, yeah? So you can adjust that mixture according to the needs of the field. And you can get it a higher concentrate or a lower concentrate depending on what your needs are. So if you buy bulk fertilizer from a fertilizer company, that's what you get. That chemical mixture is fixed. If you're over applying, you're wasting that. And I mean you can't get that back, and it can have a lot of negative effects on the field. So if you over apply nitrogen or phosphates or anything, if you don't balance that out properly, you get more negative effects or a lot of negative effects with the positives. So one case with slurry is that you can adjust that mixture exactly according to your needs,
Yeah, and
which
on
is
top
a
of
big
that,
advantage. Yeah.
slurry comes with a whole lot of other benefits that you don't always get from the liquid or chemical stuff out there. For example, you've got organic materials, you've got carbons, and you've got a whole bunch of micronutrients. You know, manganese, copper, zinc. What else is there? There's quite a few out there. And what this builds is you're building a layer on top of your field every season, every time you're out there putting it down, and it's getting work back into the soil. So year on year, you're building onto this profile, this substrate that has the potential of producing higher and higher yields the more and more you apply it every season. So slurry definitely holds its benefits. I mean, these guys are clearly putting it down at quite an extensive cost. And I mean, 13,000 liters sounds like a lot of slurry. But if you're putting down 1,000 liters to 2,000 liters per hectare, how far do you think you get, you know, with this tank?
It's a lot of refilling in a day to do, yeah.
Right, so you're spending a fraction of your time actually putting down the fertilizer, or not the fertilizer, well, the fertilizer,
The
or the slurry for
fertilizer.
that matter. But most of your time you're out there hauling, you're running up and down. You're basically hauling this product. And so what these guys were trying to achieve, or testing for this matter, was could the 6713 do it more efficiently than the machines they were running on the farm? And you know what? We managed to save these guys.
Well, you saved them a lot of headaches. And I mean, when it comes to efficiency, they didn't go wrong going to Massey Ferguson.
That's right, guys. The poster's out there for everyone to see. You can go follow JWL on Facebook. But this demonstration proved a saving of 28%.
And that's only on the haulage.
Right. Now, on
That is-
8.8 million rand, that comes to just over
That's
2.2 million bucks.
Quite a big chunk of cash, yeah.
That's a chunk
And
of
that's,
change.
that's
eh?
actually one of the cons is with slurry is you get a bit of a smell hanging around. And some of the older farmers would say, yeah, it smells like money. And now we're actually bringing that back by being able to save that with your operation and haulage. It does tend to smell a bit more like money now again.
Absolutely. Obviously, slurry isn't cheaper than your chemical fertilizers out there. But what we can do with offering a solution like this Massey Ferguson 6713 is we bring the overall cost per hectare down. Or you can buy another two 6713s. But it's up to him, of course. But yeah, let's
But
move. Yes?
what other advantages would you have? Why did you even consider the 6713 to be a good haulage tractor? I mean, there should be some argument as why it was considered.
That's right. So that's exactly where I was going with this. Is how is this Massey Ferguson actually saving the farmer 28%? And it came down to the tractor itself. So there's a few factors we're going to discuss about the 6713. And I think a lot of the benefits here is built into the driveline of the tractor. You know, so first of all, we've got a nice long wheelbase. You wouldn't say that's a four-cylinder tractor considering the gap between the front and the rear wheel.
Yeah, that's not something you usually see out there, ne?
So having a good long wheelbase means the tractor is more balanced for handling the load of the trailer. Another factor on these tractors is it's got a diff locker in the front and the rear axle. So we call that a true four-wheel drive. And so as you can see on a typical piggery or any of these kinds of farms, especially during spring, it's often muddy and wet out there. And with a tractor that has a locker in the front and the rear, you can expect better traction and less recovery rates. So ultimately saving time, wear and tear, and just less headaches on the farm, like you said.
So it's almost like your dad's old cruiser on the farm. The only difference, you don't have to get out and manually lock it on the front wheels, get muddy up until your knees or elbows and dig in there to get those locked. It's all all done
one
from
of those big lockers.
Yeah, I might need a little bit bigger one for the Massey, but it's more convenient. So it's just all from the cab, push a button, and it just works for you.
Yeah, and on top of that, we've got quite a long frame here. We've got a trailer tractor, as you can see. It's got quite some length to it. And on top of this tractor's got a really sharp turning circle. So it can angle up to 55 degrees.
Well, that's still good. Even with the longer wheelbase, you're still able to turn through those tight corners.
So you're maneuvering around between tight gates, getting off the tar road onto the field, getting off the field onto the tar. Having a maneuverable tractor is just going to make things safer, faster, and more efficient overall.
Most
and that was one of the
definitely,
biggest. That was one of the first things the guys picked up, was how maneuverable this tractor ultimately is. I think another big deal of this tractor was the engine. So it's got the 4.4 liter AquaPower motor, and it's a nice long stroking motor. So it's quite torquey. It's got a nice low down grunt.
What they call a deep engine, yeah.
That's right.
Massey gets it done
I'm almost done.
again.
Oh, all right, cool. I guess we'll pick up the speed here. Sorry, Nardu.
So yeah, that was quite interesting. Thanks
Yeah.
for that intro. A very interesting tractor to look at, but yeah. So let's talk a little bit about some other options. We looked at a slurry tanker now.
Yes.
That's also a good baling tractor. I like to talk about balers. So
I know you're kind of biased in that regard, aren't
yeah,
you?
some guys are starting to call me the hey guy around here. So yeah, let's talk about
Is
balers
that
then.
you in
Yeah.
the photo? What's going on there, Nardu?
No, definitely not. I deny it. Yeah. So yeah, balers are always an interesting topic for me.
Yes.
Obviously, I've been in the baling and haymaking industry for going on 13 years now. So yeah, I've seen a few things, and yeah, it still remains interesting. The one thing that's always interesting about a baler, it's always a tool. Because the end user with a tractor is always the farmer and the operator on the farm who's
Yes.
driving that tractor. When it comes to hay equipment, or the baler in specific, the end user is the livestock that will eat that feed. So, and we can't get a lot of feedback from them. But yeah, we
Well,
can.
if they fatten up, maybe
Yeah.
like nice fat cows, healthy
That's
baler.
exactly the thing. So the farmer who is the operator using this tool, he can give feedback and say, listen, but yeah, it works. This is what I want from a baler, and that's why, and I see the results in my animals. So we can at least get some feedback,
Yeah,
even though
I've
it's not directly from the end user.
We have a close customer in the north of South Africa, Limpopo, and there's a farmer there that manages something like 3,000 dairy cows, and he often says, they're quite full of nonsense. So I think it's not easy pleasing a cow, especially with the diet and all.
Yeah, it's commonly said usually that livestock farmers puts everything second to the animals, which is a good thing. It should be like that. I mean, that's his livelihood, but yeah, sometimes the house, the wife, everyone gets neglected, so the animals are happy. So yeah,
That's farming. Right,
that's
sometimes.
farming. Yeah. So yeah, looking at balers, we do offer a full range. We have large square, small square balers, which are mostly used for alfalfa, dry hay making, wheat straw, all that. So there's a specific market for that. But the biggest segment remains our round balers. So round balers
That's one of
are...
these on the screen right now.
Yeah, that's the one there. So yeah, quite interesting things coming with the round balers. We're doing quite a nice aesthetic upgrade in 2025. So the balers will have a bit of a new design, a new look. But on the inside, all our Massey Ferguson round balers are still built on the Welger heritage. So the Welger brand was very, very well known, a very strong market leader in Africa in particular. And then it was acquired by Lally a few years ago, and they decided, listen, we want to focus more on the animal feeding side directly in the feedlots, and they sold the baler and the hay equipment in general, and that's where Echo stepped in and acquired the Welger and the Feucht factories in Germany, and yeah, it was rebranded to a Massey Ferguson. So on the inside, we still have that strong Welger heritage, improved a few things that were troublesome in the field. I mean, Echo's always farmer first, so we went to the farmers, got their feedback at what their needs are, what they're struggling with on the balers, and improve that. Put on a new jacket, and
And
we have a Massey baler. That's fantastic.
That's something our farmers have always wanted from Massey Ferguson is they want as few point of contacts as possible. You don't want a baler guy and a tractor guy and a this guy and a that guy. The less contacts you have on your phone, the easier it is to build relationships, get good service. And so bringing Massey Ferguson in with a full hay line like the Welga balers and the Fella mowers, I think that really just encompasses it and makes it that one-stop shop. So you can expand your haymaking relationship with your dealer. Now you don't have to have 4 or 5 contacts on your phone anymore.
Yeah, and it really complements the tractor range that we have already. So I mean that's a win-win situation for any farmer.
And I must say I love the shade of red that you chose. It goes well with the tractors as well.
It matches quite well.
Yes.
I think they got the right mixture there. Yeah. So looking a bit deeper into the round balers, but just to simplify it a bit, we have 2 ranges: the 3000 series and the 4000 series. 3000 series is our fixed chamber balers. That's probably worldwide one of the biggest market segments is fixed chambers because it's simple, it's easy, it's cost effective, mostly for guys doing all their own bales, a little bit of contracting. So we do the 3130 F, which is a fixed chamber. The 3 at the front obviously tells us it's the 3000 series. The 130 tells us that's the maximum diameter bale we can make in centimeters.
1.3 meters or
1.3, 130 centimeters,
All right,
1.3, however you want to call it. So, very, very unique features that we have on those balers. And then obviously at the 4000 series, that's our variable chamber. So that's the ones that you see with all the belts in the bale chamber. Ours is quite unique, not unique, but quite well spec'd. So we have 4 belts spanning the whole width of the baler. So there's minimal space in between for material to fall out. And that's also one of the biggest concerns farmers had in the past with the very first designed variable chamber balers. All those belts had the lace.
Yes.
So that's like a interlocking piece where the belt is joined.
And that's usually the weak point in the belt.
That's the weak point. That's a wearing point. So obviously, if you have a metal piece that has moving parts, it's gonna wear. And with our new balers, it's all seamless. So it's almost like the tractor tire. It's one piece.
How did you guys get it on there?
With difficulty.
Is that a secret?
No, it's actually quite well designed. So you can take out a lot of the rollers inside, place them in the belts, get everything back together. It's hydraulically tensioned, so it tensions itself automatically and keeps it tight. And
I apologize, folks. Very stupid question, maybe from my side.
There's no stupid questions, Ryan.
Nardu, what is the difference between a fixed and variable baler?
Yeah,
If you could break it down for me, please.
Yeah, that's definitely not a stupid question. That's a question we get asked quite a lot out in the field. And if you look at the... So fixed chamber tells us it's a fixed chamber size. So it's a big hollow chamber inside. Our baler is quite unique. We have 18 rollers right around. And those rollers are all driven, and that gives us the movement. So you fill that whole bale chamber with grass until it touches all the rollers, and then it starts pressing. So that's why they sometimes call it a soft core bale, because it's a lot of loose material, and then once it's filled, that chamber, then you start pressing on it. A very unique design in our balers is those rollers, those 18 rollers going around the bale chamber are not perfectly symmetrical around. So it's actually, they call it a snail shell pattern. So from the back where the material comes in at the bottom, it spirals inwards a little bit. So then
like if the head of the head of the snail was the pickup.
Was the
So
pickup
it's coming in like a snail would go into its shell.
Yes, and it's
then
gradually applying pressure. So
Gotcha.
so it distributes the pressure quite well between all the 18 rollers. So you don't have hot spots in that roller where some of the rollers are driven at a higher torque than others. So if you look at the picture here, that's from the outside. So the drive on that rollers is the next unique feature. You'll see that's quite massive diameter sprockets. Obviously,
that's the size of the wheel. I mean, imagine the size of the gears. Goodness.
Yeah. So that's quite big. What that gives us, I mean, as soon as you go to a larger diameter, the torque is a lot more at a slower speed. So you get massive torque on that, and you get more of those chains in mesh with the sprocket. So the drive is distributed more
Yeah,
evenly.
you got more teeth on the chain
Yeah.
than a smaller sprocket would. I get it.
Yeah, and then if you look as well, you'll see with the big sprockets, it's every second roller is driven. So you have no two consecutive rollers that's driven right next to each other. So if you get a wet lump of material in or anything, that helps that you don't have two rollers taking the same load. So they're driven every second roller, and the ones in between are driven together. What's fantastic about this Massey balers as well is you look at the drive on the side. From the power split gearbox we have, dividing the power between left and right, you have massive sprockets that's driving those rollers.
Yeah, I mean, look at the size of these things compared to the size of the wheel. They must be pretty big.
Yeah. Well, I did put bigger wheels on the balers now coming, so they'll be a bit more in proportion. But the theory behind that is that a bigger diameter sprocket gives you more torque, and you can also have more of the chain teeth in mesh. So it makes sure you have a perfect drive, no matter what weight of material you're putting
Yeah, and
in there.
I'm just thinking, if you put strain under any of these gears, there's enough torque and leverage on either gear to pull you through that plug. If you had small gear, big gear, small gear, big gear, you definitely get that crank action, which could cause problems.
That's not ideal. Yeah, and
stretches the chain and all.
Yeah, and furthermore, to make it even more secure, you don't have two consecutive rollers on the same drive.
Okay.
So each one of those rollers are every second one that's driven together in a pair. So even if you get a big lump of wet material in or whatever might cause strain on the baler, we can still keep that bale rolling. It doesn't have that pressure on that consecutive
so
rollers.
You're saying this is obviously this side sprocket, and then that has got this exact sprocket on the other side.
On the other side to
this
drive
one on
it,
this
yeah.
side, and that one. And so that all of these rollers are basically under drive. Everyone's got a chain around.
Everyone has a drive, so we
Yeah.
keep that bale moving, and it's like I said, every second one, so the load is distributed quite evenly on
And
that.
that means your bale would obviously be perfectly round, like a Swiss roll from Spa.
As much as you can, yeah. Yeah, and then those rollers are quite unique as well. So the most unique feature on these rollers is that every single roller is an extrusion. So it's not a flat piece of metal that's rolled and it's welded to make a round cylinder. So that's actually quite an amazing feature. So you don't have that weak spot where it's welded. That means we can put a lot more pressure on that roller without it failing.
Okay.
And then to make it even better, there's 10 ribs on each roller right around.
That's
so
these lines we're
that you
seeing
can
on the
see
screen.
there.
Okay, all right.
So that makes the rollers quite grippy. So there's a nice picture from the factory.
Okay.
You can see it's extruded as a round pipe, and then we press those dimples in there. And
Interesting.
those dimples are what makes the rollers grabby. So you can't have the rollers turning and the bales standing still.
And
So
Welger used to be, I think, was made in Germany, right?
It's
And
a
this
German,
is this is still a German
this is
baler.
still,
Oh, wow, okay.
still the Welger factory, exactly.
Okay.
They've done massive upgrades to that factory. So it's still the same factory. They've improved it quite a lot. The capacity is quite up a lot. And it's amazing what's coming out of that factory, the improvements that has been made. But at the core of it, still the same technology that worked, that the German Welger factory developed. So, yeah.
So if you're out there wondering what happened to Welger, where can I get Welger? Come to Massey Ferguson.
We'll got you sorted.
So we've got John Rudy in studio today. He is in charge of all the Massey merch, the stuff we can't wait to pick up at Nampo. Welcome, John Rudy. Tell us about the stand. Tell us about the new lines of clothing. What have you got for us today?
Thank you for having me, Ryan. It's nice having a chat about it. Like most people around Nampo coming closer, they get excited about the merch, and everybody's always looking forward to all the new food and stuff. But as you know, over the year, we've got an awesome building at Nampo. And inside that awesome building, we've got a really cool shop.
Okay.
Where most of the stuff we're going to put in there is all merch, which we'll talk about today. But we've got so many things that we have to fill into that space. So please, the people need to come in there so that we can empty it out so we can put more new stuff in there.
All right.
So just talking about what merch we've got from for the kids to all the ladies or all the people. We've got caps, we've got shirts, we've got toys, we've got activations in between all the
Now,
shopping.
let me stop you there. I mean, have you got Have you got the 5Xs? Have you got the
Yes.
big sizes? Have you got the small sizes? Or how big is the range in terms of sizing? You mentioned ladies and children as well.
So
That's new for us.
yeah, so children is we're going to touch on a little bit later, which
Okay.
is something really exciting, a new project we've been working on. But the sizes, yes, we know that our farmers are built differently.
Yeah,
Hulle weet nie wat ons
We're
weet nie,
built
maar hulle
for-
eet ook nie wat ons eet nie.
we're built for power, not speed, bro.
Yes. So the big thing is our ranges usually start on the main side from a small all the way to a 5 extra large, and some of the jackets and body warmers similar to the one I've got on. And then on the ladies, it's from extra small all the way to a 3 extra large. So we should cover, and in most of the local stuff that we've currently got, if we don't have your size, it's something that we definitely can arrange to cater for every farmer and all the kids' needs. That's what we do, farmer first, right?
That's cool. So take us through the range. I see a line of caps here on the screen. We've also got some lovely hats here in studio. This is all available for sale.
Yeah.
So the farmers out there, they can get it at any Massey Ferguson dealership.
Yeah, we know some of the farmers got like thin on the hair, so it's nice to protect your head with
The sun
something
is hot, man.
that's really good and good quality, and also it keeps you good for the photos of the pictures with the kids and the wife later. But we've got a total of 23 different caps that we're going to have at Nampu that you can come and pick and choose from. Different sizes, different colors, all with our brands on it. So it's really something. There's a whole wall you can stand and choose from. If you struggle to choose, just take one of each. I mean, you will never have a day with your pit gebrand gaan word nie.
Yeah, I'm a bit of a cap collector, but I only collect them. I wear them for a while until they get nice and faded and a bit ripped, and then I put it in the collection. You know,
Get a little bit of
yeah,
character.
you give them a bit of history, a bit of a story as
I
well.
agree.
These are pretty cool. I see it's got the brand new logo on it, and we've got Born to Farm written on the back, and the Echo logo as well. So this is pretty legit.
It's
eh?
official merch.
Wow.
It's official merch.
So get down to Nampo or your nearest Massey dealer and grab a cap.
Yeah.
That's cool. What else
We
have
also
we
got scale models.
Ah.
So everything that you can buy in real life and work on a farm with, you can buy that in a smaller model to display. So you don't always have to go get your key and walk down. So you can say, I've got this machine. So we've got a huge variety of, I think, 15 different scale models. And it's literally aligned with everything that we've got that you can buy to work with as well. So it's a nice collection to build on. And every year we try something different or add something new. Like a good example here is one of our new machines. You guys know it's what we recently launched. Is the 8S, which is the fancy thing. So now it's got a fancy box and it's all nice. And this is built down to scale as well, which is really awesome. And we'll have a lot of it. It even comes in black.
Now
If
I
you
know
can-
a lot of collectors out there are quite interested in the scale and the sizing. Is this then a 1x16 model, or what scaling have we got here?
So
on
we've
the
got
table?
some of them are 1x16, some of them
Right.
1x32. So
Yes.
we've got different ones.
Okay.
And there are other ones that we've currently don't have. But if someone, a specific collector, would like to know, they can also reach out to their dealer as well as ask us on the Nampu stand, because we'll be having most of it there. But yeah, it's 1x16 or 1x32. And the cool thing is, some of the models, if you open up, you can switch on the lights, just
No
like the
way.
real thing. And the bonnet goes open. So it's basically what you see in the big machine, just a very small scale that you get exactly every car. So
I
it's
always
die
loved
cast.
opening the little door, and if you move the steering wheel, the front little wheels move. I
Exactly.
just loved everything about it. You know, they even put little bits of metal in it to scale the weight.
Oh, well,
So,
that's
so
really
in
cool.
fact, it's 1/16 weight as well. which is
Scale,
quite
yeah.
interesting.
So everything here is exactly like the big one. It's just a smaller version for you to brag about as well.
That's pretty cool. What else have we got? It looks
So
like some kids'
toys.
Okay.
So this is for the kids to collect, and then there's something for the kids to play with as well.
This is to play with, of course.
So-
These ones you keep in the cabinet, nice and safe.
and
All
to
right.
brag about.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
with the kids' toys, we've got a lot of ride-ons. We've got a lot of micro sets where you can. I know Nardu talked about the baler, so you can actually buy a machine with a baler. So the kids, if the farmer is farming, the kid can farm on his own on the grass beds there at home. So we've got a huge variety. There's going to be about 4 or 5 to full cabinets just of toys that you can, from individual just small tractors all the way to sets, micro sets. We've got even plush toys in there for the babies to play with, that they don't get hurt or injured. But yeah, we've got really a lot of nuts and ride-ons. There's ride-ons, and if you come to Nampo, there's a little bit of activation that we're going to do. So if you bring your kit and you come visit the shop, exactly like
There's
this
a
one.
ride-on, a little too small for me, but it's got a hooter.
Yeah.
There's the bonnet.
So I always say,
You guys
just
see this?
just like the farmer needs a diesel engine, this does works on kit power. So the mom needs to put the lunchbox in it to keep the engine filled with this one. So, but yeah, we've got the small ones and we've got bigger ones there for the kids a little bit older.
My favorite is the little tow bar. You can pull little trailers with it. This is awesome.
Yeah.
This
So,
is really cool.
but there'll be some prizes to give away, and there's definitely a ride on for the people at Nambu that they can win. So please stop at the shop and come browse around.
And I see we've also got some interesting jackets here. Obviously, Nampo, it's pretty chilly out there, so it's good to.
In the middle of May, in the Free States, it's not nice. The temperature drops quite quickly, but it does picks up, but then it drops down quickly. So the pictures that we've got on here is one of the ranges we've been working on with one of our local suppliers, which is well known. I'm pretty sure every farmer's got one. It's a Kateway.
Okay. Wow.
So with this specific range, as you can see, it's a jacket that I wear. It's one of my favorite jackets. So just a little bit of the specs, but first a little bit of background. So we went with Kateway because it's local and it's part of who we are as our South Africa, and we partnered up with them and the WF. So part of what we are as Aqua is about is also about sustainability and caring for the environment. So this whole range was developed and designed with that in mind. So the whole range is all from environmentally friendly and eco-sustainable products. With this range, we worked with the WWF to take plastic out of the oceans, and that's what's basically filling. It's not down feathers, so this thing can actually go in the washing machine without those balls.
Okay.
And special wash, you just wash it normally. And it keeps its pressure and the density better, so the air is filled better, so it keeps the temperature
But now
better.
my question is, if I'm a farmer, I'm out there in the field, I'm doing the rough stuff, I'm getting covered in dirt, mud, grass, I'm picking up heavy metals everywhere. How tough is this range? Can I do a full work day in this jacket,
I don't know
or
if people will be able to hear it, but this is made exactly for the farmer because it's got a ripstop material.
so
in
it's
it.
it's workwear? It's not not
it's-
fancy clothing. It
It looks fancy,
right.
but it's there down to get dirty in the mud and with you on the farm everywhere you go. And we know, though I would suggest the body warmer for every farmer, we know we don't like to get our arms tangled, but this things keep the most important part warm, but it's strong enough to go through the fences and underneath any tractor or implement that you need to go to. It's strong enough to do that as well. And the cool is we've got a fully glove jacket with us, with the wood, which is water resistant, wind repellent. And I know Nardu said about the roller, you could probably get elephants in. I was still wanting to get 2 elephants or 2 tractors to tow a jacket, because on 20 centimeters of that specific material, we can put down 1,181 Newton meters of torque. So that's the pulling power of how long. Last year at Nampu, we had a 250 kg weight hanging on this
from the
material.
wheel weight from a tractor?
Wheel weight from a tractor. It was hanging on that, so it's with no butts or bolts. It's just by literally tying a knot around it and hanging it there for a full week without. We actually had to use 2 paring knife blades
Well,
to cut it.
I've had my jacket now for quite some time. I wear it quite often in the winter, and I must say it's holding out really, really well. I'm not hanging tractor weights off it or anything like that, but I'm glad I can. What else have we got at the Nampo store?
So there's a couple of news features, stuff like last year we didn't have watches. This year we've got sets
this
of
white
watches.
one is amazing.
It is.
Is that a lady's watch?
It's the latest watch. There's a
Oh.
little bit of bling in there
Okay,
to
I
make
like
it a little
it.
bit look more feminine. And then we've got the chronograph for the match, but these are all stainless steel, and it's a proper watch. It's really nice. So if you're looking for something for Mother's Day or for a birthday or for just for the husband to carry around when you go a little bit nice on date nights or stuff, this is definitely a really good gift.
Yeah, I
to
know
give.
the male version was out for quite some time, and
Yeah.
and now with the ladies version, I'm sure the happy couple out there can have a matching set. How sweet is that?
Definitely. And then we've also got like a couple of stuff for the kids that I talked about.
Okay, let's have a look.
So we know how much all the kids on the farms look up to their dads. I know I did. And it's always nice for them to actually to look the part, to feel like part of the farm. So what we've done is that we've got all of these as part of a workwear for the men's. And now your son can actually wear the same clothes as you. And even if you get into the workshop side of business,
And the overall.
you can have a full overall for the kids. And this is not like normal switch. This is same ripstop material. I don't know that you won't be able to see it, but this is also made from actual workwear material. So this is the real McCoy, and we put in some ribbing at the bottom and in the hand. So the kid can wear it a little bit longer, so it
Yeah,
doesn't
so
stretch out.
he can play all day in his overall, and mom won't get too upset.
Yeah, and then this is all. This is a new partnership that we're going with Boerbel, so we know it's quality, and they know the South African fit.
Boerbel.
Boerbel. So yeah, so we've got the whole set of workwear in partnership with Boerbel and Massey. So if you come and looking for something for the whole family to wear on the farm, this
So now
is-
we just need shoes. That's all we need.
and we do have shoes.
What?
We've got a full range of valleys.
So there's shoes as well.
This is just one of them, which is the Fynbos, which is a little bit of a sleeker sneaker design. But we've got a cool thing that we designed with Veldskoen, which is our local partner.
Veldskoen, yeah.
As
I'm
you can
actually
see,
wearing a pair right now. They're
We've
awesome.
got the South African flag on here to show it's of our local favour. So we've got a sleeker sneaker. We've got a safety boot, which is exactly with a steel tip for the farmers if they want to
Those
look
are
the
important.
part and make sure that they're safe in the field or in the workshop. We've got the Origins, which is the ones that I'm wearing, which is my favourite, which is a lace-up. And we've got the Woodstock, which is like a Chelsea boot, but a really prepared leather. The cool thing about these Veldskoens, they are all, what you call it, responsibly sourced, so they're all from local
Yeah,
abattoirs.
they come
and
from
slaughterhouses.
the guys that use a lot of slurry, right?
Should be. I don't think these are pigskin, but I think it's more
It won't
cowhide.
be pigskin.
But definitely it's all genuine leather, and these ones been treated. So some,
Yeah, have a look.
yeah, definitely. These ones are specifically treated, so it's got like a hydrophobic thing on it, so it's a little bit
Very
of water resistant, and the soles are super nice.
And it's nice and grippy too.
So you won't slip. So we've got a full range. We've got the sneakers, we've got
Massey
the boot,
badge.
we've got the safety boot. There's gumboots for the ladies, so please come have a look. We've got them in different sizes. And then there's some for the kids as well to look the same.
But this is my favorite. Hey guys, how cute is this little short? I think it's got the Massey badge at the back, little Massey badge on the pocket. It's also a Boerbel. This is cool. I like the button. I don't know if we can pick this up on the camera, but we've got the Massey badge engraved into the main button. So it's all those little details that I think really make this not only, a good-looking pants.
If that was
really
your
quality.
size, you would have wanted it now.
Say again.
If that was your size, you would probably.
I would have tried it on. Yeah.
Yes.
Maybe it. No, it won't fit.
No, a little bit too tight. But yeah, in essence, we've just to kind of just wrap it up. We've got everything that you want to need from farming to toys. We've got miscellaneous items for pepper shakers, cheese boards,
Don't give
laptop
it all
bags.
away now. Everyone still has to come and see it for
And
themselves.
much more,
Yes.
and much more. So please come to Nampo 13th to 16th of May. We're in the Echo building. You won't miss it. It's the prettiest building, the coolest building out there. The people there will be friendly and warm. And yeah, just
And
pop into
we'll
the
find
shop.
you in the store. Will you be there during the week?
I will be there.
All
and
right.
I'll have a smile. I'll be wearing all of our merch. And so come and get yours. And
So yeah, guys, if you want to swing by, come and say hi to John Rudy. Come try out one of his new lines of clothing or shoes, or get yourself a scale model. It's all apparently available at the Nampo store. You can also get all of this at your friendly local Massey Ferguson dealership. Thanks again, John Rudy.
Thank you, Ryan.
That
This
was
is
really
awesome.
cool.
Thanks
Thank
for
you very
having me.
much for coming.
Enjoy.
Awesome.
Massey gets it done.
Well, thank you very much, John Rudy. That was very, very informative and also very, very dangerous. I see a lot of my money going towards the merchandise. Not only because it's Massey Ferguson branded, but it's actual, real-world, good quality that you can use and wear.
Yeah, for one, I'm definitely going to get myself a new pair of shoes. So if you're looking for me in the Nampo store, you'll find me at the Veldskoen shoe display at Nampo.
You'll get some good miles out of those. Ne?
Definitely, definitely. And that pretty much brings our episode to... I'm hearing something vibrate.
You think it's something in our Massey Ferguson mailbox?
We've got mail, it seems. Let's have a look.
Oh, interesting. I received a voice note from John Pierre.
Might be a customer.
I think he's one of our farmers.
Okay,
Or potential farmers, maybe. We never know.
let's hear it.
Nardu Skitter, you're talking to John Pierre here. I'm looking at the video here on YouTube's. On Massey Ferguson. Tell me, how does that guy have two things, one on the front, one on the back? What is he doing there? Please give me more information. And also when I saw that machine is making one track and doing double job. Please explain.
Double implements, one track,
That-
double job.
That sounds very interesting. He sent a video as well, so yeah, let's see if we can get that on the screen.
All right.
That is the last silage field finished. We were back on the double sores all day today, and in the front we had polysulfate and in the back we had urea. It really is a very handy setup. We put on another 150 kilograms per hectare of urea along with 80 kilograms per hectare of the polysulfate. So our silage ground now has all of its N, K and S that it's going to need, and it actually has all of its sulfur for the entire year. It's been a very busy day. There's lots of rain forecast for tonight to wash all of that urea in, and I should have very minimal losses. And overall, we're off to a great start with growing our first cut silage. I will not be back in these fields now until I'm mowing them at the end of April, maybe the start of May. I'm going to go home. It's been a very long day, but I'll leave you with some awesome drone footage that I recorded earlier on.
Got some music in this video, eh? Makes me want to party. What do you think?
It's a vibe going.
Yeah. John Pierre's got good taste in music.
At least you can say that.
Pretty cool.
Well,
Well,
I actually quite enjoyed this video, so shout out to Andrew Wright. He makes a lot of these videos, and if you haven't noticed from his accent, he's from Ireland.
Okay. Well, guys, if you want to show John or Andrew some love, rather, do follow his channel, Farm Theory, I believe it's called.
I think that's it, yeah.
Send him a comment. Tell him where you heard of him. Tell him the what's the case with Massey guys sent you over. So yeah, let's discuss first of all what John Pierre was talking about, and maybe what we could pick up from the video. He was talking about double implements, and now we can see he's got there's a spreader on the front, looks like an Amazon from where I'm sitting, and another Amazon on the back.
Yeah, and the platform in between, that's our magnificent new Massey Ferguson 8S tractors, going up till 245 horsepower. So yeah, quite a sturdy machine, heaviest in its class. So it's a tractor that can get the power down onto the ground. And this one, obviously, with the front implement you mentioned, that is why we can have the front linkage on there to enable us to do that.
Yeah, and it's coming with it's got its PTO, it's got an isobus plug, so we can basically, what you've got at the back, you've got at the front.
Exactly.
And so you can run these two implements basically at the same time.
Yes, that's it. Yeah, that's one of the unique new features. You can actually now, where previously you couldn't, you can now put an isobus plug with your front linkage on our tractors. Yeah.
Okay, so basically smart spreading. In other words, you can basically adjust your variable rate applications or various rates and row shutoffs. So when you reach certain sections, the system can deactivate. But I mean, I was watching this video as well, and I noticed that Andrew was talking about two products. He was putting, I think, urea down on the front, and was it polysulfates at the back. And he was telling us that he's doing both jobs at the same time, which means he doesn't have to go back to that field.
Yeah, that cuts out the traffic on the field already by half.
Yeah, ground compaction, field damage.
Much less.
Yeah.
And the time and the fuel saving is massive.
Yeah, he was saying he doesn't have to be back again, which means he can spend more time making more videos.
That was literally his last run. He cut it in half. Instead of doing 2 runs through the field, he's done 1. Less compaction, less fuel, and less time. So yeah, if he was a South African farmer, he could go for a lekker yacht trip and then come back only to mow the grass.
Yeah, and I don't know if we already thanked you at home, John Pierre, but thank you very much for this video. There's even more to talk about. Yeah, he was talking about the tracks there as well, and he was saying, how does it stay on track? And what we could see in the video here is this 8S is running in exactly the same track. You can see where the tractor's been and where it's going. And even that one clip where it was doing the turn, it was turning on the headland, and it even stayed in the same track. How do you manage? How do you think you manage that and manage to shoot and fly a drone all at the same time?
That's something that will be launched quite soon on our tractors, is the auto-turn function. So that's quite an intricate function. You always obviously need a bit of space to turn, which is quite nice. And
with a spreader, that's perfect. You don't need to go right up to the edge of the field. You can already start your turn a little bit sooner.
Yeah, and the auto track is nothing new in tractors. The guidance has been there for quite a while, and it's a huge benefit, especially with him with a big spread on the front. You won't be able to see the tracks you're running in. So yeah, let the tractor do it all for you.
Yeah, we've seen this kind of, I think it's called controlled traffic or set way lines. We've seen this in the self-propelled sprayer industry. So it's only logical that we'd see it on a Massey Ferguson 8S with the 2 spreaders, and off you go. I think that's also saving him quite a lot of fuel and maintenance costs. Remember, every hour on an engine is an hour closer to its next service.
Exactly. Yeah.
And so I think he's not only saving time, I think he's saving quite a bit of money as well with this application.
Yeah, efficiency is key.
Well, that's pretty awesome. If you guys have any other questions for Nardu or myself, please feel free to send in your voice notes and your videos. And I mean, that's kind of what Nardu and I do. We do this during our working hours, or we just talk about tractors all day. So they figured they'd put us on camera.
Yeah, basically, this is just another day in the office
This is
for
just
us.
us talking regularly. So yeah, we'd love you guys to join in on the conversation. Please like and subscribe. You'll see some information in the cards and the texture and the below screen. Also, if you want to learn more about Massey Ferguson, where can we find more information? Where can we learn more?
Well, we have a fantastic we have a fantastic
cool.
social media page.
Yeah.
You can always visit there. All our dealers have their own social media pages as well, specific to your area.
Like JWL.
And then, of course, the Massey Ferguson website is a treasure trove of information. Everything you need to know that is Massey Ferguson, you will find on there.
That's cool. And if you know a local Massey Ferguson salesman or any dealer representative, give them a shout, see how they're doing. I'm sure they'd love to come and visit you. That's it, Nardu. That's our first episode.
That's a wrap. Thanks for having us.
It was great. And thank you guys. All the best. Cheers.
From the past to future bright.
Now it goes quiet. Now we can just talk, and it's like the credits rolling. It's quiet. You know, and it like darkens out.
Massey Ferguson runs.
Should I have a script and then throw it?
Now we have all the credits going.
That felt good. Thanks, guys. Well done.